Is death important to an anime and manga? And if so, how important is it? So in light of recent events in Naruto where there was a huge major death within it, I decided it would be the right time to talk about death and how it plays a part in especially like a battle manga or a manga where like death is kind of something that is wanted and people want to see that. In a lot of different series, a lot of people think that, you know, sometimes they don't want to see death because they don't want to see their favorite characters die. Sometimes people overwant it. And that's one of the big problems as well, is that, in my opinion, authors should always do it the way they want to do it. Because if you cater to the fans, half the times the fans, they don't really know what they want, to be honest with you. Because for the longest time, I've been seeing, for example, with the Fourth Grade Ninja War, people have been saying, we want death, we want death, we want death. 2 chapters in a row we get death, and all of a sudden people are like, no, why are people dying? So you can never really go off what fans want. And I'm not saying that any author is going off of that. I'm just saying, for example, that at the end of the day, you write your manga the way you want to write it, because if you cater to other people, they don't know what they want truly. And in my opinion, I think death in a sense is important. And it sets foundations and it shows danger, but at the same time it also progresses the story. Let's take, for example, early Naruto. One of the big things that moved the story along and helped to develop a lot of different characters was the death of the 3rd Hokage, Sarutobi. I feel as though that death definitely moved the story along. It made a lot of people change and grow, because for the first time ever they saw, holy shit, you know, people actually die. This isn't a joke. Being a ninja is not just a game. Shit can really go down. And I feel as though that was a big step in a series like Naruto. Same thing with other different series. And that's one of the curses of Dragon Ball, where they have like Dragon Ball so they can always wish people back. And I guess in a sense, and as crazy as it sounds, that's one of the things that Dragon Ball GT actually did correct, is that in Dragon Ball GT, a certain main character, which I won't spoil just in case anybody hasn't seen it, but a certain main character stays dead at the end, and stays in hell dead at the end, which is very important, and it makes you feel like, holy shit, you know, after all this time. It really just adds closure, and I think that definitely when you add death into a series, especially when you're reaching the climax or the end of it, I feel as though that's mostly just to add closure, because if nothing really happened, let's just say that there's one goal for a character, and they're trying to reach the goal, for example, like Naruto, he wants to be Hokage, or Luffy wants to be Pirate King. If they are going to that goal, it makes it more impactful if along the journey, because like they always say, it's not necessarily the importance of the goal, it's the journey to getting to the goal. And when you have people dying all around you, for example, Jiraiya dying, that was very important and impactful, and showing Naruto that, you know, once again, things aren't a joke. And it really just, in my opinion, thrusted him into becoming more of a man and taking more responsibility on. And overall, that's where I think death plays the biggest part. And it's not 100% necessary. In certain cases, I feel as though maybe you shouldn't really kill off characters just for the sake of killing them, because that doesn't progress stuff. But when you get a sense of danger, that's what death brings. When it shows that a character can grow, thrive, and change, that's where death plays a big part. For example, like, if a series is mainly about, like, you know, war and stuff, and nobody ever dies, then you really don't get that, holy shit, this person died, and it doesn't really feel true. You don't get the true experience. Now, while in real life, you know, of course, you don't just sit around hoping, oh shit, you know, I really hope this person dies. I hope this person dies. Unless you're like a serial killer like Dexter. Then, you know, you really don't do that. So it's very different when you're looking at a story and you're looking at real life. So it's hard to really compare the two when people say, you know, real war. At the end of the day, a lot of this is fiction. Most of it is fiction that we read. So you really got to look at it as that. And that's one of the things where, like, a series like Bleach, for example, a lot of people hold against it that there's very minimal depth. We got, like, you know, a few different depths here. And that's where a lot of people's gripes with the series is. And that just overall shows when a series needs it. When I feel as though depth shouldn't be immediate. It shouldn't be like, you know, you get 20 deaths in the first, you know, 5 chapters or something like that. But I definitely say, especially when you get into a climax, the end of a series, when you're closing up, I think that death definitely plays a big part, and it just shows that time has passed, things have happened, and that's where I think death's importance is for me personally. 3 different things. 1, to show that things aren't a joke, that this is not a game, things can happen, death isn't nothing to be played with. It helps to develop the character and move the character, progress him, make him wiser, make him understand life more, make him become more stronger, make him become a man, basically. And 3, if it's in closing the story, and where it throws an impact and it just shows you things have changed, things have happened, and that's where I think death is important. So, do I think that it's 100% necessary in every single story? No, not by far do I think death is necessary. But I do think in certain stories and in certain moments it is, in order to really showcase just exactly what's happening. Like, you know, what happened in Naruto. Now things are getting to the climax. Now shit is going down. You can't just have death randomly happening all over the place, because then it doesn't feel as impactful. Like, just think if we already had, like, 5 people die in the war, for example, and all of a sudden the latest death happens, it would have been less impactful. It would have just been like, oh, another death. But when a death comes out of nowhere, like, holy shit, you know, this is reality, this is what's going on in the story, then you feel it impactful. Let me know what you think, though. Do you think that death is necessary? Do you need it in a story for a story to feel like it's getting somewhere? Or do you think that not all the time should we have death? And also, what do you think about, like, authors and writers that are kind of like almost pandering to fans when they write stuff? Because if you, once again, if you cater to a fan and you cater to the fans what they want, they don't really know what they want. They are looking for you to guide them to a good medium between what they want and what's necessary. And that's what's important. But that's all I have for this discussion. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up for the many that have fallen in stories that really mattered and what really counted when death happened. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.